Hi, this is Marsha.
And this is Kelly.
We are the two Ewes of Two Ewes Fiber Adventures. Thanks for stopping by.
You'll hear about knitting, spinning, dyeing, crocheting, and just about anything else we can think of as a way to play with string.
We blog and post show notes at twoewesfiberadventures.com.
And we invite you to join our Two Ewes Fiber Adventures group on Rambouillet. I'm 100 Projects.
And I am Better in Motion.
We're both on Instagram and Rambouillet, and we look forward to meeting you there.
Enjoy the episode. Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Marsha.
Yes, how are you?
I'm doing fine. I see on the show notes, I'm a little bit wondering about you, though, because I see the very first thing on our show notes is dreams of camping. So I'm just curious about this.
Let me scroll up here to the show notes.
It's worrying me.
So I've been having really, really weird dreams. And one of my dreams was I was going camping. I was camping, and I was super excited about camping. Now, Kelly.
That's weird.
That's weird. Because probably the last thing that I want to do is go camping.
Yes. Yeah. Camping is one of those things that I like, and Marsha's not really a big fan of.
But I've had a couple dreams of camping. I don't know where this is coming from, but I've been really excited about camping and really enjoying it. And just like in my dreams, it's really vivid, like the smell of the tent, the smell of the trees, the smell of the pine needles on the ground. I have no idea why I'm having this dream. I have had another reoccurring dream, which is I've turned my house into a boarding house / hotel. And in my house, in the entrance hall, I don't even know if you know this, Kelly, but there's that little built-in thing. I don't know what to call it. Anyway, there's a drawer that opens up and it turns into a seat. And there's a phone jack
where
in
the
there.
phone used to be. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So you have seen that. Mm-hmm. And so I haven't, I have not opened that thing up in 30 years, probably. Maybe when Ben was little, he was interested in it. But anyway, in my dream, I'm sitting on that thing, and that is turned into like the front reception desk. But then as all dreams turn into nightmares, and there is now a line of people 6 feet apart down the stairs, and I have 3 rooms. I technically have a 5-bedroom house, but they're not all operating as bedrooms. And so I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to put all these people. And then the dream ends and I wake up in a sweat kind of about this. Okay.
So I'm just noticing on the one end of the spectrum, you have camping in your dreams. And on the other end of the spectrum, you have your home as a 4-star hotel.
Okay. Now I've only had this next dream I've only had once. And this one's going to kill you. You're going to die about this one. And I think I know what this one's rooted in. So I'm doing animal training in my house. But guess what kind of animal I'm training?
A lion.
Well, you would think like a tiger, you would think, because that Tiger King, I watched that. That's all over the news.
I haven't watched it.
I have a horse. I have a live full-size live horse in my house that I'm training.
Oh my gosh.
So it's so weird. I have no idea what's going on. And I swear I'm not drinking before I go to bed. But there's something
anything funny.
Or not smoking anything. No, I'm just going to bed. And but I think the training is rooted in the fact that we were doing the online training class. And I think the night I had that dream is I had watched the training videos. But why a horse? I have no idea, because I don't really I'm kind of, I can't say I'm afraid of horses. That's too strong, but I find them intimidating because they're so big.
You like them about as much as you like camping.
I think they look beautiful in a pasture, that pastoral look with horses in the pasture, but I don't want to touch one. Really, I think they're beautiful, but they're just so large. And I'm a city girl, I've just not been around them. So I'm sure they're completely gentle and loving and wonderful animals. I know they do all kinds of, anybody who has horses, I don't want to offend anybody. I know they do all kinds of, therapy with them. So I'm sure they're fabulous, but for me, they're just so big and I've not been around them, so... So I don't know what's going on with me, but
you're dreaming of all of the things that could be worse.
Yes. And I think
your brain
that
is helping you cope.
Yeah. I think really, and I'm not really sure about the camping one. I really don't understand the hotel one at all. But the camping one, I wonder if it's just like, I've been looking at hiking shoes. I need new hiking boots or trail runners or something. And I've been looking at REI. And of course, I want to go get fitted and I can't get fitted. And so I've been looking at trails to hike and I'm just sort of obsessing about hiking. Like I want to get, we all want to get out. We just want to get out. And, and I've just watched a ton of travel, shows, like Rick Steves and, there's one, Joseph Rosendo. I can't remember what the name of his show is, but just watching all these travel shows because I can't go anywhere.
Right.
So I'm just dreaming.
You said you were watching climbing videos with Ben.
Yes, we've been watching climbing videos, and
it's all kind of related to camping. Maybe.
Yeah.
The hotel part is funny though.
That's funny, yeah. And maybe the camping thing too is that you've been you have a home office in your trailer.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe that's what, I don't know, but it's funny.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So when you're feeling down about the situation, you can think to yourself, it could be worse. You could be renting out rooms while training a horse in your house. And scheduling a camping trip.
So anyway, but during this time, everybody is just, a little on edge. And I think it could be that my sleep is not restful. And I'm sure everybody's in the same boat because, I'm having these weird, bizarre dreams, which kind of make me laugh in some way and perplexed. But I also just feel really tired. And I think it could be the sleep situation, having these weird dreams. I also think it's just a very stressful time. And I think we were talking a little bit earlier and you said that Aunt Betty feels really tired too, right? And she's not really doing anything, but it's like, maybe it's because we're not really doing anything that makes us tired. I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know. I feel tired when I get done with my teaching, like my eyes feel tired. Using Zoom to teach, I get done with my class and like my eye muscles are tired because I'm watching the screen, I'm watching the students, I'm watching the chat, I'm watching whether people are muted or unmuted and want to talk, I'm watching the hand raise things. It's like my eyes are darting around the screen for 2 hours. Like, oh my God, that is hard.
Yeah, and Ben, he did go for a bike ride today. He's riding around Lake Washington because he has to. He started school, but he said that this first week is just all. I'm not sure what's going on. It has something to do with the online learning. They're just
it's
easing
probably
into it.
Sort of prepping people for what they have to do.
I think
that they didn't plan on doing.
Yeah,
but that's the hard thing for both the faculty and the students. Nobody signed up. I mean, there are people who signed up for online classes, but none of my students signed up for online. And they purposely did not take a class online because they wanted to have a classroom and certain things to help them be successful, and they're not having that. So helping them, that's nice that they're kind of easing students into it.
So he had spring break last week, and then school started on Monday, but the full classes really don't start till next Monday. And because this in-between week is just, as you say, getting people kind of set up. And he's, was very frustrated. The original plan was spring break. He was going to Michigan to visit his girlfriend, and that didn't work, obviously. And so he's so active, but they've and does all this climbing, but they've closed a lot of the trails. Everything. This is what he's telling me: is all the climbing spots and hiking trails in Washington State have been closed because everybody was going out to the trails and not keeping their distance, and they don't want.
Yeah.
And climbing, if you think about it, you're sharing ropes and whatnot.
Right.
So
Any
they've closed all.
Where you share equipment in California is not allowed. Yeah.
So he's just been riding his bike, and so today he's on a ride around Lake Washington, and then, but this is what I think is so. This is what I love about Ben. I love many things about Ben, but I love this is he's resourceful. So we have this giant, huge deodar cedar in the front yard. I mean, the thing's massive, and so he climbs that every day in the evening. And goes up there with a book, and he hangs out there, depending on what he's done, or how much free time he has. Either he hangs out there for an hour with the book and reads, or one day he was up there for about 3 hours with a Tupperware container of chocolate chip cookies and his book. Mm-hmm. And he's so high up. I live in a 2-story house, but he's above the roof line.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because when we have we have very tall trees in our yard, and have regular tree maintenance done on them. And when the tree guys come, the arborist and his crew come to work on the trees, I often think that that's a career that people don't think of. It wouldn't be something that would pop into your mind. If you were a person who enjoyed climbing, you wouldn't necessarily think, oh, maybe I'll be an arborist, because you might not also be interested in biology. But the work of being outside, climbing, being able to use those ropes, it's like, oh, that's an interesting job for a person to have. And the guy who we hire, he's in such demand that half the time we can't get him and we have to get somebody else. So, I don't know how lucrative it is as a career, but at least it's something that is in high demand if you're good at your work. Yeah. And I often think, there's some interesting careers out there for people, and somebody who's interested in climbing and also has some interest in trees and how they work. That'd be a perfect job for them.
Yeah. So anyway, do we need to say any more about all of this? Do you think anything you want to say about classes?
No.
Okay.
I'm just tired. I'm just tired. And I'm trying not to be irritable when people talk about all the time they have, because I don't have any time. And I'm not, I'm not complaining, because, I'm nothing even close to, first responder or healthcare worker or all the other essential jobs that are out there. But there have been a few moments where people have been talking about all the essential workers, and it's like, hey, wait, teachers, come on, teachers. Well, I'm out here. I'm essential. Yes, and what I was going to say too is that grateful you have a job. I'm very.
Many people are. I think this time, the stress of. It's stressful staying home. Like, you can't go anywhere, but then, how do you pay for anything if you don't have a job?
Yeah, and so I am very, very fortunate from that standpoint. So I'm not complaining at all. But there have been moments where I've, looked at my Instagram feed and seen people talking about, what they can do because they're so bored, and I'm like, I want to be bored.
Well, and I have just 2 other things I was just going to say. But yeah, I want to be bored too. And I'm going to say personally, I find it really difficult to focus on anything. It is interesting how many people they're doing puzzles and they're bored. But I find I am really struggling with just staying focused on something. It's difficult for me to start something and stay focused on it. And I think it is just the anxiety level.
And that's another thing that I feel fortunate about, is that I don't really have that option. Like, not being focused when you're giving a Zoom class for 2 hours is just not possible.
Right.
And so, I have all this stuff structuring my day. And so yeah, I am not complaining at all. I'm very fortunate.
And then the other thing I'm going to say that I'm grateful, because this would be so difficult. So I took Enzo out for a walk, and the family that lives next door, the mom was out in the alley with her 2 little kids that are one's in daycare and the other one is like kindergarten or first grade, I think. And they're out riding their bikes. The point is, she's exhausted because both parents are still working, but from home.
Yeah.
And they have 2 kids that they have to care for and do their online, the boy, the older, do home,
Right.
school and 1 computer. Like, how do you manage all of this where there's expectations from your employer that you are going to get things done at home when you, so she said they're really struggling. And I was laughing and I said, if you had asked me before this, did I eat out that much? And I would have told you, no, I don't eat out that much or get takeout food that much. And I realized I'm a liar because I've had to cook, for a month. I've made dinner every single night and don't have that fallback of,
right,
let's go get something, let's go out or let's get takeout because there's not that much that's open. So, and she said, well, that they've been doing like one of those food delivery services like Bite or I don't know, there's a million of them out there. I don't know what they are. I don't do that. But, and she said she feels guilty. Like, what are the neighbors going to think that every night they're having food delivered? But she said it's so stressful with 2 jobs. I mean, each doing their jobs at home and these 2 kids trying to, take care of the kids, manage them, keep up with their schoolwork. She said, I'm ordering dinner in every night because just one thing she can just outsource. No, what's the word I want? You outsource. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'm grateful that Ben's of the age where he can just do his own thing. Yeah. And, it's just difficult for everybody.
Yeah, my colleagues who have young children doing their teaching and managing their children's teaching. And the same thing, I have a colleague whose husband teaches at a Cabrillo College near us, and she teaches at Hartnell with me. And then she has a son in high school and a daughter who is in kindergarten. And so she's doing, managing their schooling, plus her teaching, plus his teaching, and limited devices in the household. Mm-hmm. So anyway, yeah. I feel very fortunate.
I feel very fortunate. And then my last thing is that there's so much emphasis, on the first responders and doctors and nurses. And yes, 100%. I appreciate them and am so grateful for them. But I'm just going to add all these grocery store clerks that are ringing up these sales and stocking shelves and
the people delivering the dinner to your neighbor.
Yeah, and not a lot of protective gear,
right.
It's just everybody's really sacrificing, I think. But Kelly, should we declare this rest of the podcast now a virus-free zone?
I think that would be good. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. No more. We're not even going to discuss it anymore. We're just going to talk about fun things.
Yeah, so I will drink to that.
So we're both drinking. What are you having?
I am drinking girl beer. And I ordered it. I ordered it. My niece, who is getting her master's in English, is also working for Strike Brewing in San Jose. And it's a hazy double IPA that they made for International Women's Day. And I'm going to just read a little bit from the can. It says, "Girl beer represents the amazing and strong women who are part of this industry, from bartenders to cellar women to sales reps and scientists to brewers and owners. Girl beer also represents our diverse craft beer community because all beer is girl beer." And it's got this cute label with the rubber boots that they wear, all these different shades of pink rubber boots. And they made it for International Women's Day. A group of women in the brewing industry got together at Strike, and they made this. And it's like I said, it's a hazy double IPA, 8% alcohol. So by the end of the podcast, I could be on my behind. But it's very tasty, and I'm enjoying it. When she was brewing it, I said I wanted some, and then she sent me information about how I could order it. So I actually ordered this and had it got delivered today, really fast from Strike.
So 8% alcohol, and then how large? It's not. It's more than a.
Yeah, it's
a pint, so it's 16 ounces.
It comes in a can that I think they call a tall boy.
Okay.
Anyway, it's a pint. It's a 16-ounce beer. 30
a good size
international bitterness units. Anyway, it's good. Very tasty. Kind of a citrusy sweet, sort of sweet citrusy IPA.
Well, I am drinking a whiskey. I don't know if you can hear the ice. We were having a conversation a little bit before this, but I was not going to have a whiskey. And I thought, well, by the time we actually record, it'll be the cocktail hour. So I poured myself a whiskey. And then because I'm alone in my house, just the dog, and there's nobody here to judge me, and I bought the whiskey myself, I can drink it any way I want to drink it. And I'm putting my whiskey over ice with a little bit of water, which I know the rest of the family would just be aghast at this, that you're supposed to drink it neat with just a little drop of water in it. But you know what? I can do what I want to do.
Yeah, you bought
the way
it.
I want to drink
for it. It's your house.
Yes.
You can drink it however you want.
Yes.
That's right.
And yeah.
And
so that's
Scotch,
what I'm drinking.
It's Scotch whiskey, right?
Scotch whiskey, yes. But it was funny. I have these my Waterford glasses that I drink it out of, and they're kind of curved at the bottom. And I have to be a little careful. When you look at it from the top, it doesn't look like that much. But then you pick it up and you look at the side and you're like, ooh, I poured way too much in that. So I had to pour some back in the bottle because it was a little bit too much, because I don't have a guide on my glasses like you have on your glasses.
Yeah. So I have, what Marsha's referring to is I one set I don't have anymore, but I had a couple of sets of whiskey glasses. One is from Robert's mother, and they're, I think, from the 60s. And they have like sort of gilt painted barns on them. And so, and they came with, the set she had like shot glasses and whiskey glasses, and I think there was a tray. And when they were moving, I said, oh, I like these glasses. And so I just took the glasses. They're like the old, is it called old fashioned, the height of the glass?
I think so.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, they're not fancy or anything, but I just love them. And so I always say, well, okay, today I pour to the top of the barn because, because you can tell how high to pour the glass. Do you pour to the top of the barn or just to the bottom of the roof? So it's either top of the barn or bottom of the roof day. And then the other set of glasses that I actually don't have anymore.
I'm shocked that you gave them away, Kelly.
I think when I gave them away, I didn't even think about how I used the picture on the side of the glass. They were Levi's glasses. So again, nothing fancy, but Levi's logo on them, and then a pair of jeans. And of course, what I would do is I would say, I'm pouring this up to the crotch. So,
and if it was a really stressful day, it was up to the waistband.
Yeah, exactly. Or maybe the pockets.
Yeah.
Yes. This is a pour to the crotch.
Well, should we talk about projects?
I think we probably should, since it's been 20 minutes and no knitting.
Before we get too inebriated. Okay, right. Do you want to go first? Or?
Oh, sure. I can do that. Right now, I am working on, of course, what I've been working on forever, it feels like, the Marianne's cardigan. Mm-hmm. Trina Bertelsen is the pattern designer. It's a cardigan, but I'm making it as a tee. It's a short sleeve cardigan. It has a crocheted yoke in a kind of green and purple and blue. And then the body of the t-shirt is kind of a purpley blue color. And I'm close to the point, well, I'm not that close because it's size 3 needles, but I'm probably about 2.5 inches away from the edging on the bottom. So I'm getting there. It's a slow process. I'm using blue heron cotton that I got from Tracy, Little Town Knitter. She had, she brought it for me. She knew I liked to use cotton, so she brought me some when her friend was destashing. And they go together really well, and I'm anxious to be done. Mm-hmm. I'm honestly tired of working on this project.
So how is it looking? There was we remember the last episode or last couple episodes we talked about how where you're I'm sorry.
Where I alternate the skeins.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I've been alone way too long.
It's all right. I'm not unhappy with it. I think it's possible when I get done that this one side, if it just hangs, is not going to hang quite as loosely as the other side. Mm-hmm. But if I leave it too loose, then it looks messy. And that's what was happening in the beginning, is I was trying to make sure that I didn't have a really tight crossovers, and then they were sort of loose and baggy and looking very messy. But it looks uniform. You can see where I alternate the skeins, but it's uniform going all the way down. So it's not uniformly messy. It looks the same all the way down, whereas before it was looking like really loose and baggy and holy, and then it was tight and then it was loose and holy. So I'm okay with it. But I'm just ready to have this off the needles. And I really haven't had enough knitting time to make a whole lot of progress on this. I think the last time I picked it up was, let's see. I think I've knit maybe twice since we last recorded. I just haven't been able to.
Too much going on.
Yeah. So,
and your eyes are tired from all that.
Exactly. All that darting around on the Zoom screen. So I like how it's looking. I've tried it on. I like how it fits. I'm going to be really happy with it, I think.
Mm-hmm. Good.
But I'm eager to get to the bottom and get back to the little green crochet border, because I think I'm going to put a crochet border at the bottom instead of a ribbing. And then pick up this, and then all I have to do is pick up the sleeves, and they're short sleeves. So once I pick up the sleeves, I think it won't be long.
Okay.
So, yeah. So that's that project. I'm also, I'm also working on a spinning project.
Okay.
So I bought a braid of multicolor mixed wool fiber, and I don't still have the label because Bailey got to my braid one of the weeks right after Stitches.
Yeah, this is the one you bought at Stitches.
Yeah,
right?
I bought it at Stitches from Shaky K Fibers. But I think, if I'm remembering correctly, it was mixed wool, and it was like Corriedale and Columbia, and it's really springy. I'm enjoying spinning it. Someone mentioned at Stitches that they thought that the fiber at the Shaky K booth looked a little bit matted. And I have to say, I'm not finding it to be that way at all.
Okay.
I'm really enjoying the spin. I do just a little bit of kind of tugging to loosen up the fibers. But I think it has more to do with the fiber type than it has to do with anything wrong with the dye method. This is the remember you were talking about this when we had the episode right after Stitches, Marsha. This is the woman who got her husband doing.
I was going to say, this is
Mm-hmm.
they're based out of Texas, right? Very close to the border, I think.
I don't remember that part.
Oh, maybe I'm wrong on that.
I just remember that she got him a bin. No, what are they called?
Oh, a shipping container.
Shipping container, yes.
The story is that he retired, and she decided he needed a job after he retired. So she set him up to dye wool.
In a shipping container.
Yes.
On their property. And then she and her daughter do the shows.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm really enjoying the spin. The fiber is nice. This one is a very springy wool, but it's not at all felted or matted. It's really, really nice. And it's multicolor, so it has yellow, orange, pink, purple, like a deep purple into tealy blue. Mm-hmm. And then there's a gray, kind of a pinky gray part. And I had originally thought I would do something like a fractal spin. Something where I organized the way I was going to spin the colors. But once Bailey got to it, She made part of it into what could be a combo spin by shredding it apart. So most of it's still in the braid, but enough of it was pulled apart that I'm spinning that part first. So I am kind of managing the colors. I'm spinning that part first, sort of, trying to manage the colors a little bit, but knowing that I'm not getting, it's not like the actual braid is. And then the next thing I'll do is I'll pull the braid apart and I'll strip it and spin. I think I might try to do a 3-ply, but I'm not positive. And then I'll strip it and spin the other 2 bobbins from the braid that's remaining. So, yeah. So anyway, I'm enjoying it. I haven't done much spinning in quite a while, and it's been kind of nice and soothing for the last couple of nights to just come up here and spin. And Bailey learned a slightly difficult lesson the other night. I wasn't actually paying attention, or I probably wouldn't have let this happen, but I'm spinning along and she got interested in what I was doing and stuck her nose right in the spinning whirl with the hooks. So, I mean,
that's the last time she'll do that.
She won't do that again. That's for sure. I'm like, oh my gosh, Bailey, the spinning wheel bites.
Enzo did it once and he's never done it again.
Yeah. So she now knows that the spinning wheel bites back. So, but it's been fun. I have gotten not quite a whole bobbin spun. And I think what I'll do is, I think the braid was 4 ounces. They typically are. And so I'll just weigh the rest of it and see, and then I'll have it in thirds and I'll have a 3-ply.
Okay.
So that's kind of my plan with that. So those are my 2 projects in progress. And then I have a finished project.
Ooh.
Yeah. My Ruana. Well, I guess I shouldn't really count it as finished because it's not hemmed and I don't have a closure on it yet, but
close enough.
It's very close to finished. So it's off the loom and then I put it in the washing machine and I filled up the washer and then I put it in and,
so do you just let it soak or does it agitate a little bit?
No, I actually turned the agitation on. And then I checked it, like, every few minutes I checked it. And so I kept going until like in the Jane Stafford Guild, she says, until you can't poke your finger through the fibers and through the threads. But I can actually poke my finger through if I try. It's not fulled quite enough that it's, I can't poke my finger through. I could do it if I wanted to. But it's all the yarns have kind of settled together and nestled in, and then because it's a long wool that has kind of a mind of its own, and the long wool doesn't really have a lot of crimp to it. So when you ply it too tight or spin it too tightly, it doesn't want to be that tight. And it kind of works its way back out. So I have all of these little boucle loops that have worked there as I washed it, worked their way out of the yarn. And so little loopy things on the front, on the surface, which I love. Okay. The look of it is just so cozy. I thought about brushing it, so it would be more mohair-y, fuzzy mohair-y. But I think I like the more boucle mohair-y look. It's actually not mohair, it's Cotswold, which is a British long wool. And it's silver gray. There's a couple of places in it where it shades to really pretty dark gray. And then a couple of places where it's pretty close to white. And really kind of shiny. You can see.
Do you have a picture of it on your Ravelry page?
Yeah, I do. I put a picture of the surface after wet finishing. So you might be able to look at that. What I should do is take a picture of it, like lay it flat and then take a picture of it, like, so you can see all the little things popping up. Like take a picture like it's
I see it on the stairs,
on the ground flat, and then put my camera like level with it instead of above it. But yeah, I'm really
beautiful.
excited about it. And I found a jewel closure that I think I will buy. It's a paisley. Jewel is a company that makes closures that you can actually just poke through the fabric. You don't have to sew them on. So I could just poke it through this woven fabric and then screw on. And it's like a little paisley, I don't know, like pewter paisley closure that I think I'm going to use on the front of it. So I haven't ordered that yet. And I haven't hemmed it yet. I still have to hem it. So at the end of it, just another thing to tell you about the long wool and the way it behaves. So in the end of it, I knotted all the warp threads. So I have a hem stitch at the bottom, and then after I cut it off the loom, I also made knots. So every 2 threads I knotted together so they wouldn't slide back through the hem stitch. And now I've washed it. But these knots keep wanting to pop out.
Oh, is it because it's the long wool and has a mind of its own?
It's kind of like if you try to tie a knot in your own hair. It manages to undo itself. It won't stay in a knot because it wants to be straight. It's kind of like that. Yeah. So all of these knots are they're trying to work their way out. I still have a fringe on it, which I'm not going to keep because I'm going to hem it. So I think when I sew it down, I'm going to have to like sew through the knots. The knots are going to be part of my hem. Yeah. Because they won't if I just cut them at the base of the knot, which is what I was thinking I would do, they'll just pop right out. They'll just undo. So I'll have to sew through the knots when I hem it, and then maybe I'll cut the fringe off. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. That's why it's still not hemmed. Yeah. Yeah. But it's beautiful. It's warm. It's cozy. It's itchy, but I won't have it on my face, so it doesn't matter. It's an over-clothing garment. So, and it's finished. I'm going to say it's finished. It's finished. 20-year-old skeins of wool are now in a garment.
You didn't rush into it.
I did.
You took your time.
And it's a beautiful result. And I'm going to say this again, too. This was my fairly early spinning. I don't remember exactly when, but I was fairly new to spinning when I bought the fleeces and started working on them. And so, I mean, this is by no means technically good spinning. And it's beautiful fabric. Right. So don't feel like you have to be a good spinner to use your hand spun, either to weave with or to knit with. I mean, you wouldn't. So I guess it's about the right project, right? Like I wouldn't use hand spun. Remember Robert's scarf that he wanted to be smooth? Yeah. So, I made this long stockinette scarf for Robert because he wanted a smooth scarf. If what you're going for is an absolutely smooth fabric, then no, your beginner hand spun is not going to be the right yarn for that project. But if you're willing to have a project where you just see what the fabric is, swatch with it, knit swatch, weave swatch, sample. And you're gonna love the way your hand spun turns out, and you're gonna be able to think of a project to use for it. Yeah, So that's my project news, my knitting news, spinning, weaving, a little bit of everything. Actually, this is a little bit of everything. I have crochet and knitting in the cardigan. I have spinning and I have weaving. So yeah,
I don't have that. All I have is knitting.
Yeah, because you have a finished one too, right?
I have a finished sweater. It's the pullover that I made by Beatrice Perron Dahlen, and it's the Isla Haut. We had a discussion about this in the last episode. It's Isla Haut. It's a pullover with kind of a stand-up collar. raglan sleeves and a lace detail on the sleeves, and I finished it, and I've washed and blocked it, and it fits very well. Do you remember I added extra stitches I made the smaller size, but put extra stitches, and it worked out perfectly. It fits really well. And I did really well on the sleeves too, because we had this discussion that you're supposed to knit the sleeves and then attach them to the body and do the yoke. And I did a provisional cast on, because I was not sure if I'd have to make the sleeves longer or shorter, and they worked out perfectly. I did wash and block the body and the sleeves. I don't know if I had done that last episode or not, but I ended up washing and blocking. Okay, I washed and blocked them, and then I attached them, and it turned out great. It works really well, and I really like it.
And the color's
so it fits perfectly. So, yeah. And the pictures I put on Ravelry of the finished sweater and the ones that are going to be in the show notes, I think shows the color pretty accurately. Some of the other ones, it looks a little grayer, but it's pretty accurate in those photos.
And what is the yarn again?
It's Imperial Yarn Columbia.
The one that's likely discontinued. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not sure, but we think so. And right now, I am knitting on my, I'm calling them my John O Groats socks, and it's the yarn, it's called Yarns from the Plain sock yarn, and that's what I bought when I went to the retreat, the Caithness Craft Collective retreat. And as we're sitting here, I'm just getting ready to start the heel flap.
Right. Yeah.
On my second one. So, and the reason, yes, I'm excited. At least I'm making progress on that. And the reason why I'm knitting on those socks is because what I had planned to knit on did not work out. And I just realized here, you have to give me one moment. I thought I had added it in here, but I did not add it into my project notes. That's interesting. I just noticed it. Anyway, so I'm working on the Dusk Into Twilight Shawl by Rosemary Hill, and I'm using our yarn that you dyed. When we last talked, I was just getting ready to finish up the two color stripes that, and then the color that goes in between the stripes. That's the last band of a lace detail, and I've started that. And the reason I'm not working on that, I'm not having problems with it, is just that the first part of the lace band is short rows. So I have to keep track of my yarn overs and my knit two togethers and wrap and turns. So I thought I am not going to knit on that while I record
even just
and drink
lace
a whiskey.
Is challenging sometimes. And then to put lace and short rows into the same mix with a podcast recording. No.
Yeah. So anyway, that will be tonight. I can work on that. Well, I'll have to decide what I'm going to do, because I started another project, and this is what I forgot to put into the show notes, and I will add it in later but I cast on a hat, and it's called Goro Anamara by Valeria Garcia. And it's I'm using Stonehedge fiber mill shepherd's wool, worsted weight. I don't know if you remember, but when Ben's girlfriend came for Christmas, I gave each of them a skein of yarn in their stockings, and I said I'd make them a hat. I was planning on making the 1898 hat, but there was little enthusiasm for that for some reason. And there was I don't know why, but there was not a lot of enthusiasm from either one of them. So I found this other hat, and it's ribbing. What am I trying to say? It's ribbing, but it's pearl, but then you knit through the back loop, so you get that kind of the knit stitches knit through the back loop, so you get that kind of braided look, kind of, and it's And then there's not yarn overs, a cable stitch, one stitch, so it gives it kind of like this swirling effect as it goes
sort of
up the hat.
Stitches,
Do you see it?
Oh, that's nice. I like that.
So anyway. So I cast that on 2 days ago, I think, to make this for his girlfriend. She's going to get this hat. It seemed a little more feminine than for a man, so I picked something else out for Ben that I'm going to make. But here's an interesting thing that happened with the hat. So I cast on, so the ribbing is in size 4 needles, and the body of the hat is in 6s. And so it was in the evening, 10 o'clock. And my favorite thing, is just to get into bed and knit and watch YouTube videos or watch something on Netflix. So I went and grabbed my needles. I have one of those, the thing that hangs in your closet, that you put all your needles through and they're all labeled. I don't know. Anyway, organizer. And I grabbed the 4s. And I even have hanging off of it a little gauge thing to check your size. And I check, and yes, it's 4s. And I knit all the ribbing, and I'm starting the hat, and you have to switch to 6. And I'm like, that's weird. My 6s are the same size as the 4s. Because 4 millimeter is a 6.
Oh my gosh. This is, because this is US 4, 3.5 millimeter, or US 6, 4.0 millimeter. I'm looking at the pattern. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Oh.
So, and it was funny because I thought, gee, this is the thing, like you should always, these little voices, like you'll have like a little voice or a little something or like a thought that will just kind of like flit through your head kind of. Yes, and what flitted through my head was like, it's kind of a loose rib, but oh well, I'll follow the pattern. So you should always listen to those little thoughts that flitter through your head.
I just went to the pattern page, and this is a free pattern, and I really like it. So I just put it in my library. Nice, because I like traveling stitches, those twisted stitch columns.
Well, and I am not particularly good at color work, but I was thinking this would be an interesting hat to do where you did color work. Because you know how you can do color work ribbing,
like
right? So why couldn't you do color work? So you would get the
right.
So that the little traveling rib or whatever, those knit through the back would be a different color. Right. I don't know. There is one in there I think is really good looking where I was looking at the projects, and there's one where they've done the rib one color, the body a second color, and then a pom-pom on the top, which matches the rib.
Cute.
That's actually a pretty cute hat too.
Well, I would keep saying I'm going to, because I don't have a lot of knitting time and I'm tired of this tee. I really need to get out my Sunny Bono jacket and finish that last sleeve, but I haven't done that either. That's going to, that's one of those things where I have to remember where I was on the pattern. It's like there's work to it. But what I need to do is take a couple of skeins of my hand spun and put them into cakes and make a hat. So this might be a good choice of hat. This is a cute one.
Okay, but I'm not done.
Oh, sorry.
With my story.
Continue.
No. So the next morning, now this is completely has nothing to do with knitting now. So the next morning, I wear contact lenses, and I wear the daily ones that you get a fresh pair every day. And even during this period of time, I thought I normally just order them from the optician and then just go and pick them up. And I thought, things are a little bit different now. I better order I have like a month left, but I probably should just order them now because the world is different. And so I discovered I can order them online. So I go and I start filling it all out, and I have to put in the power, of my left one and my right one because they're different. And I think probably most people, your eyes are different, right? So they're different. And I start putting it, and I suddenly realize that I've been putting them in the wrong eyes. So I've been...
For how long?
A long time. A really long time. And so I
Can you see my
Yeah, I mean, I can see to drive. I'm safe. Like I can see, but I have a hard time seeing with and these are supposed to be like so you'll be able to see things up close and far away. So I'm nearsighted. So I always have to have on like reading glasses. And I still do. Now that I put them in the correct eyes, I still do, but not to the degree that I had to. Anyway, I got laughing so hard because I've always put them in the wrong eye. And so don't ask me how I got the idea that I had them the correct way because they're clearly labeled. But I would just go look at the power. And so I would put him in the wrong eye. So I would...
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, I cannot stop laughing. It's so funny to me. And then every time I would go to the eye doctor, say, well, are you happy with the contacts? I'm like, I'm not happy with these contacts. They just aren't working. So then they would go and they check my eyes and they say, well, it always changes a little bit, And so then I would go and get like the trial ones to take home. I'm like, these are great, and I'd wear them. These are great and everything. And then they'd send me the new ones. And it's like, they never work because I was always putting them in the wrong eye. It's so stupid because they actually label the boxes left and right.
Oh my gosh.
So I think this is, so I think this has something to do with the fact that I grabbed the wrong needles. Mm-hmm. So anyway, okay, but I'm still not done with, that's my side note about this project. I think that, so I'm still not done. So I rip it out because it's the wrong size needles, obviously. And so I rip it out and I cast on, and I should say both the first time with the wrong size needles and the second time I decided I wanted to do the tubular cast on because I think that's a nice finish. And so the second time I do the correct size needles, number 4s, US 4, not millimeters, do the tubular cast on, and I've done the ribbing, and I've done about, probably 4 or 5 rows of the body of the hat. And I thought, I'm just going to take out that, there's like it's not a provisional cast on, but it's like you use waste yarn first. And so I thought, I'm just going to take that waste yarn out and just see what it looks like. Oh my goodness, it's horrible. It looks like there's this big loop between the knit stitches, like this big loop, and you can pull it and it pulls the whole length around the hat. I don't know what I did wrong. So I'm ripping it out again, but I can't knit on my shawl because it's too complicated. I can't knit on that hat because I have to rip it out and start over again. And so I'm just going to do, a lot of times I do, there's like a super stretchy cast on that and that's what I'm just going to do now because I don't know what I did wrong.
Oh my gosh.
And I was watching YouTube videos about tubular cast on and is it Andrea Mowry? She does one, which is very similar to the one that Sockmatician does. He had a very interesting one where you're actually casting on stitches for a tubular cast on, and you're doing the way you're casting on, you're making a purl and a knit stitch. I could, and you do, say you want to have 40 stitches, you do 20 on one needle and 20 on another needle. Let me rephrase that. You do it on a circular needle. So you do 20 on one needle point, 20 on the other point. And then, do you remember when you were doing the tubular bind off, how you put all the knit stitches on one needle and the purl stitches on the other? It's similar to that. I could not wrap my head around it at all. And couldn't see it either. No, but I could not understand it. And so I ended up doing the tubular cast on that was from my Seven Sisters pullover that I just finished. And it worked beautifully. I did that for the bottom of the sweater, and I don't have that weird thing, so I don't know what I did wrong. I did something wrong. I don't know what I did, but I'm done. I'm not doing it again. I can't do it again. I'm just going to do a stretchy cast on. So yeah, who knew this hat was going to be so complicated?
Oh dear. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, it should be fun to actually knit once you get into the body of it. It looks really interesting.
Yeah. When I got the 4 or 5 rows I got into the body, I liked it. It was fun knitting. Okay, so that's it for projects?
That's it for projects. So we finished our winter weave along, Marsha.
Yep. And I have to say, I'm really interested in the projects. Some really interesting things. Every single one of them is really interesting.
Yeah, I was really happy with the participation, and I locked down the finished object thread, but I have the chat thread is still going, and people are even today we're talking about their weaving projects. So I'm going to leave that one up because I think it's kind of fun to just talk weaving. There's not, not a lot of podcasts that particularly talk about weaving. So I'll just leave that up. And the variety of the weaving, everything from, people with rigid heddle looms to little frame looms. Mm-hmm. Somebody had a little 1-inch. That was Miss Isabel made a scarf out of little 1-inch penny turtle hexagon pin loom. Mm-hmm. So, she just made a whole bunch of little hexagons and sewed them together to make a scarf. Really cool. 8-shaft, 4-shaft, floor looms, tapestry looms, all kinds of different the variety in this thread is really interesting. Rugs, scarves, really fun.
Yeah, and there were some I just wanted to mention that I thought, well, all of them are great. So the first one I noticed was, let me get up here to it. I was scrolling through and now I've lost my place here. Okay, so Sunshine Dee Dee, she did some towels that look, I said to you, very psychedelic.
Yeah.
And it's, they're kind of oranges and reds and pinks and some purple.
Oh, but op art. That's the term you were looking for earlier.
That's the word, yes.
Op art.
Yes, that's what it is. And it's very, the interesting thing about it, and because Kelly, you know so much more about weaving than I do, but what I thought was interesting about these is most weaving projects, they're straight, like it's a grid kind of, you have warp and a weft. And these are kind of all on an angle.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how it appears. So they look, and she did say that it's her first project on my floor loom in over 6 years.
Yay.
It's just 4, yeah.
Yay for getting your floor loom to not be naked.
Yes. And she said it's just 4 shafts, complex threading, and treadling. So a fun learning experience. I thought that one was very interesting. She also did a tapestry, and let me think. The other one also had sort of that psychedelic look. I don't know why I'm focusing on that so much, but let me scroll down here to it. The finished object. Maybe I passed it. Hang on a second. This is not good podcasting. You'll have to edit this out. Okay. I think Yarn Girl 52. That has like a kind of a psychedelic look to it. I'm sorry, that might be offensive. I don't mean to be offensive, but it's not straight lines, kind of. You know, I thought that was really interesting, and then the other one I have here that I thought was really fun was Lisa Cason, and she had the little homemade weaving board.
Yeah.
And she made this really cute little purse that I thought that was really cute and resourceful.
Yeah, I thought so too. Yeah, I like those little bags. I have one I made with a cardboard loom. The first year we did the winter weave along, and I use it to put my earbuds in when I travel, so that I have a place for them, so they don't get all tangled in my purse or get lost. I just really love because I'm a dish towel lover, I just love all the dish towels. And one of the early posts was Thea Turnip. And she's got 3 different colors of dish towels. And green, a blue, and a purple. And in the blue ones, it looks like there's 2 different colors of blue for her towels. And then she's also got a shawl that she did with the same threading. And it's just kind of, this is the thing I love about weaving, is that you can take the same setup and you can do dish towels with it. You can do a shawl with it, slight changes, and you can change the fabric totally, even though you really didn't change a lot about your weaving, your weaving project. So that's kind of cool. Another project that I think is really, that I really like is the Stella's project with all the little tiny pieces of hand spun yarn that her cousin spun from her sheep, and then Stella wove it into a scarf.
Yeah.
a small scarf. And that has a lot of, a lot of joy in it, and a lot of, just heart, because it's her cousin's sheep, and it's her cousin spinning, and then her weaving. So I think that's cool. And then Knitter Chow made a cowl.
Yes, it's so interesting.
We were both just kind of amazed by this cowl. The yarn is so interesting. It's a Lion Brand yarn. Lion Brand Martha Stewart Crafts Mambo. It's an amazing kind of yarn. It's like, let me just describe it. It's acrylic, nylon, and wool, and it's like wool encased in a blanket stitch, kind of.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like a sea creature, or it looks like out here in the state of Washington, we have basalt columns. It looks sort of like that, like stone basalt, or like coral, or not that it's coral colored, but it looks like a living thing, kind of.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Now, stone's not a living thing, but it has this very organic, super organic look to it. It's really interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was really nice. And then we also had a couple of different people, Kathy, Straight Fork, and I can't find the other one. Here it is. I think it's Card and Comb. I think hers is double weave too. They both made double weave blankets, which I think is really nice. I love making blankets, and double weave is really fun.
Well, and Straight Forks looks, to me, I was looking at it, it looks like a Pendleton blanket or something.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. But yeah, really, really pretty. So everything from shawls to scarves to blankets to samplers to data knitter, Pat. Says she made a shawl for a giant. She used some hand spun and just practiced different twill patterns, made like a sampler, and she's got it. I didn't realize that this was the thing to do, but I've now learned you take a stair photo. So you put your woven thing on your stairs, and Pat did that. So she has this shawl for a giant, running down her stairs, and took a picture. And then Mary did a picture, and admin did a picture of something on the stairs. So I'm like, okay, I have to put my Ruana on the stairs and take a picture. So I did that too.
Okay, that's new. I did not know that was a thing. So
I didn't either. So,
but it shows all your long things. So anyway, it was really fun, and I just, some really cool projects. People are just so creative. Every single one of them was very interesting.
We should do. Okay, this is one of those things that I'm going to say that I don't know if we really have the energy or time to do it, but it would be kind of fun to do a dish towel swap. A woven, for those of us who weave and like to weave dish towels, it'd be kind of fun to do a dish towel swap where you make a bunch of dish towels and then send them along, because I like my dish towels, but it would be kind of fun to get somebody else's version of dish towels. So I'll think about that. I'll put that in the pipe and smoke it for a little while. Decide if we should do that or not sometime. Might be kind of fun. So it's not a lot of weavers in our group, but enough. We had finished objects. I think we had something like 31 finished object posts. Not huge, but that's a good number of weavers in the community participating, and lots of chat in the chat thread. That's been really fun to see what everybody's had to say there. So
let's get to prizes.
Yeah, so we have two different prizes, two different prize drawings. We went ahead before we started recording, and we drew a random number generator for the chat thread and also for the finished object thread. So the chat thread, the prize, we'll do that one first. The chat thread prize is a skein of Farmer's Daughter Fibers yarn. It's made in Montana. We picked this up at Haut this past summer. And the base is Foxy Lady. It's 70% superwash merino, 30% silk, 428 yards, and the color is Hill Country. And I mean, you can tell by the yardage, it's about a fingering weight. It's a singles, and it's really nice. It's a silky, I'm crinkling here. It's a silky, shiny kind of singles. And it's got black and brown and gray and cream kind of speckle. So it's a very neutral skein. It's not bright at all. The speckles are sort of pale. Very nice neutral color skein. Just a little bit of orange.
It's very refined.
Yeah, I think so. That's a good way to describe it. You're remembering what it looked like because you're not seeing it, right?
Right. But I remember picking it out, yeah.
We're not doing video today. But yeah, it's really pretty. Really pretty. Yeah, I think Marsha picked that one out. So that's for the chat thread. So we went ahead and drew the from the chat thread. And the winner in the chat thread, drum roll, don't bang on your table, Marsha.
Yeah, no, I've learned my lesson. I won't do that.
Is Kathy Straight Fork. Congratulations.
Yay, congratulations.
She's been really active in our weaving. She's been really active in our weaving thread for a long time. So that's really nice. Congratulations.
Yes.
And I'll... you know what? I might have your address already, but it would be better if you just resend it to me so that I will have it handy and I can send you this skein of 70% merino, 30% silk singles that you're going to love. Really pretty. Okay, and then for the FO thread, we have, once again, because I'm such a fan of the Jane Stafford Textiles online guild. And sadly, I have not been keeping up with this year's videos, but they're all there for me, waiting in my library for me to watch them. For the FO thread, we have, again, a prize of a gift certificate, enough for an annual guild membership, or if you'd prefer, you can get something else with it, for the Jane Stafford Textiles Guild. So we went ahead and did the drawing for that, and the winner is Sunshine Dee Diane. And she's the one who did the complex weave that Marsha said looked like op art.
Yes.
Her loom was naked for 6 years. So hopefully this gift certificate for the Jane Stafford Textile Guild will get you going, get you to get your loom with some dressing.
Yeah, don't let it wait 6 years.
No. So, or like I said, if you don't have the bandwidth for videos, or you already have a guild membership or whatever, she also has weaving tools and weaving yarns and some really nice kits. I was looking at the kits. She has a sample kit. She has blanket kits. She has scarf and dish towel kits. Of course, she's from British Columbia, so she calls them tea towel kits. I call them dish towel kits, but tea towel sounds much more fancy. So anyway, kits, yarns, supplies, tools, anything you want. But the amount of the gift certificate is enough to cover the online weaving guild for 1 year. So congratulations, Diane.
Yes.
And
very exciting.
Yeah. So she, like we said, she did more than one project that she participated in that with. So
I forgot to say this during the recording, but Diane, get in touch with me, Kelly, 100 Projects on Ravelry, or email us at 2ewes@2ewesfiberadventures.com and let us know your address. I think I'll need to know your email address rather than your shipping address, and I can get you your gift certificate. Thanks, and congratulations.
Thanks to everyone who participated. I really like the Winter Weave Along. I've not participated as much as I've wanted to over the years. Some years I have, and some years I haven't. But it's been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed it. So,
well, you did a fair amount of weaving because, the Ruana, but you also did a bunch. You at Christmas time, didn't you do tea towels or?
Yes. Well, yes, I did. I did those yellow towels. that I gave most of them away, and then I had 2 left that I actually cut into the weaving. I don't know if I ever said that on the podcast.
On purpose or by mistake?
By
this
mistake.
This is not a good thing to cut.
No,
okay.
It was a very bad mistake.
Okay.
I was cutting them off the loom. I had cut them off the loom to give them away at Christmas. And then I had a couple that were left. I had enough yarn on the loom that I thought, okay, I'll cut these off. I can still retie it. I'll be able to make 2 more. They won't be quite as long as the ones that I made before, but they'll be fine. Because every time you cut off from the loom, you lose a little more from tying it back, you know, in the knots and such. So I thought, well, but I'll have enough. I think I'll have enough for another two towels. So I went ahead and I, cut the ones off that I wanted to use for Christmas. I tied it back on. I wove the 2. I worked really hard to eke out the very most of that warp that I could. And then when I was cutting them off the loom, I sliced right through the fabric. I don't know how it happened.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing. I'm sorry.
I don't even remember if there was beer involved or wine. I don't think so. I think it was just stupidity, like putting your contacts in the wrong eyes,
Right.
One of those things like head smack. Why did you do that? So I have 2 dish towels. One was already a little bit short because it was the last one on the loom and I could only get so much on. And the other one that was a better size got 2 to 3 inches of it sliced right off. So they're a little diminutive. They're like fingertip towels. So I was thinking at the time that I made them, it was like, what am I going to do with these last 2 towels? Oh, maybe I'll give them for prizes. No, nobody wants towels this small. So I have 2 little tiny yellow towels. Maybe I'll give them to my niece, my grandniece, for doll blankets or something.
Yeah,
blankets for her stuffed animals. I don't know. They could be used in like a bathroom towel situation, like a little hand towel, tiny little hand towel, fingertip towel. Situation, but so frustrating to do something so stupid.
Oh well, yeah. Join the club.
I know it happens, and you can't undo it. It's like, okay, once that was cut off, you cannot put that back together.
No,
it's not like knitting where you can rip it out. When you cut a whole 2-inch section off of your weaving, there's nothing that can be done.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Okay. Well, anything else?
No, I don't think so.
I think that's it.
Oh,
so
next time we record, we should say this announcement time. Next time we record, let's do it on video.
Oh, like we did last episode. Okay, no drinking involved on that Zoom. One though, Kelly.
Hey, I might be...
It's too much to manage.
I might be really good at Zoom by then. I have 3 weeks under my belt. That would give me another 2 weeks. 5 weeks of Zooming. I might be able to drink and Zoom at the same time. So we will record April 23rd. Because that's a Thursday and that's the best day for me. But we'll put it up in the Rambouillet thread, and I will put it up in Instagram, let people know exactly what time.
Well, let me check my calendar and check my availability.
Oh, okay. Because you might have.
Why, look, there's absolutely nothing on my calendar. So, yes, I'm available.
Okay, so April 23rd will be it. Video live on Zoom. And we'll let you know the time on Ravelry and Instagram.
Okay.
All right.
All right, Kelly.
Yes.
I'll see you. I'll see you in the Zoom room.
Yes.
In 2 weeks.
No, wait. It's Zoom. Bah. We're doing Zumba.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's enough.
How far are you into that 16 ounces?
Oh, I finished. I finished long ago.
Oh my gosh.
I'm ready for the second one. Oh my gosh. All right, everyone. I hope you're all
Alrighty.
safe.
Yeah, stay a safe distance.
Yes.
Alrighty. Bye-bye.
Marsha.
Thank you so much for listening. To subscribe to the podcast, visit 2usfiberadventures.com.
Join us on our adventures on Ravelry and Instagram. I am Better in Motion, and Kelly is 100 Projects.
Until next time, we're the 2 U's
Doing our part for World Fleece.